Hey, 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 how you doing? You hear me okay? Can you hear me okay, Aaron? Should be able to hear me now. There we
Yeah, I
go.
can hear you, Coach. How you doing?
All right, cool. Sissy and Dominic are back in the house. All right, everybody's going to start tuning in. I just wanted this to kind of be an open half hour where you could pop in, pop out, ask questions. Other people may hear what you're going through as you're applying stuff. And actually, this is just the thought I had earlier today, too, that the value that you're going to get from coaching, even though we might talk about some great ideas and going through this 16 hours of turning your database into gold mine, making the phone ring again, you're going to hear some great ideas, great, like Sissy, we just had a talk about the different types of campaigns that you would have, or action plans, follow-up drip plans, from the time you take an app until they get approved, from the time they get approved until they find a house, from the time they write an offer until it closes. All these different things we're going to talk about in that big course. There's a lot of great ideas there. The value from your coaching, though, is going to come from what you actually put into place in between our calls, putting it into action. Like Sissy, we had a great call today because you've been putting this into action, and you're going to get stumped almost every time. It's like I go to do it, it's like you hit your first roadblock, hit your next roadblock. So that's what this call is for, is that 30-minute Q&A. I almost don't even care if it's relevant to what the database course was, if it has stumped you for something while you were working on it, right? It's probably another piece of your world that other people will be doing the same thing. So that's where I really just want this to be a time where you guys can tell me, okay, I know it sounds so simple just to add somebody and write a note and put them on this plan, but it's not working for me, or I'm doing it and I'm not getting the results yet. So this is the time to kind of throw it out there. So I'm just going to shut up for a minute, see if anybody has anything that they are really working on that any of that could be happening with you or that you want to share. Yeah, go ahead, Aaron.
So, my lazy ass is struggling mightily with, just my mind refuses to write down the list from Facebook, which is like 300 plus contacts, and my phone book. And I keep trying to cheat and want to know if Excel format is acceptable instead of writing names into notebook.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
If you say no, I'll get to it like today, but
all
I
right. So I will give you guys some cheats, but I'll also give you some cautions behind it. And I'll tell you when it's okay to cheat and what you might be missing out on by cheating. How about that? So I did have somebody on a one-on-one call this week that she pulled it up and she's got 5,000 Facebook friends. And I'm like, all right, I do know it will take you 3.5 to 4 hours to write all 5,000 names in a notebook. If you open it up and you start writing and you don't stop, it's going to be 3.5 hours to 4 hours. I know, because the people that do it, that's what it takes. And I track it all, right? There is a cheat. And you're going to see my Facebook get it toned in. Actually, I think I'm going to turn this light off. That might be blaring it out too much. Try that. There we go. I haven't figured out my lighting yet. This is the master list for just my Facebook people. All right. So this is a cheat that I'm about to share with you. And look, that's 5,000 people on Facebook right there, printed out, and it's printing that many per page. So the thing is, though, is you do have to go through your tab, your friend's tab, and when they pull up and it looks like this on your screen, right? So when you see that, you're in the right place. If you right click on this, after you've scrolled all the way to the bottom, just anywhere, once you get and it doesn't refresh anymore. Understand that with 5,000 people, your little sidebar keeps getting smaller and smaller. Pretty soon you can't even click on it on your screen anymore. If you have 5,000, you'll just have to hit the down arrow, and it might take 20 minutes to do this, right? With 5,000 people, it will. Once you've done that, you can right click and print. And then I just took this to Office Depot and had them bind it. Now, here's the problem with that is that I've got 5,000 people in here, and mine's probably like yours. There's a bunch of realtors, there's a lot of local people. And if I get a little closer, the main thing to do here is to start going through and classifying them and getting them figured out who they are. And this is where you're going to write their phone number and their address and their email. Okay. So if it's 300, I would challenge you to write them in a notebook, because when you're writing the names in a notebook, just straight from the top to the bottom, your brain is going, who the heck is that? Why are they a friend on Facebook? I don't even know what this person looks like. And so once you get it in the notebook, you're going to go back into Google, Facebook, your cell phone list, your email, and you're going to type in their name, for example, in your search window of your email, and you're going to see if they've ever sent you an email. And in that email, you're going to see where they did send you a couple. You're going to click on it, and you're going to see a signature line or a picture attached to it or whatever. So what's happening in your brain is now you're attaching like, oh, yeah, I know who that is. And you won't always do that. But that's what writing the name down and then attaching it, your brain is like melding it, right? Just a little better. In fact, with these drip plans that are running and it tells you to call this person 4 times a year and to pull up social media 4 times a year. And let me just pause there just in case everybody doesn't know. If I've got 33 touches over the year from now to the end of the year, and there's 33 tick marks, 4 of those tick marks about every 4th, which would be every 3 months, is going to be a phone call. And then in between those, so every month and a half, in between the phone call is going to be a touch them on social media, like actually a 2-way conversation type thing. Not those 8 things are not automated. That's you connecting the name to the face to doing something, right? Whether you're pulling them up on Facebook, whether you're sending them an email or pulling them up on your phone. And what you'll start to do is you'll start attaching their picture to your cell phone contacts list. You know, in your cell phone, you can put a picture with it, right? Sometimes it'll dump it in automatically. Hopefully in the database, it will allow us to have, the one I use actually has their face attached to the contact record. So anytime I'm touching that person, I'm seeing their face again. Do that for about 2 or 3 years. If you pass that person in Walmart, you won't wonder who they are. You'll be, that's Joe, right? Or that's Sissy, or that's, Rock, right? So it's programming all the time so that we never forget them. And I'll tell you where this came from and why I took it like so literally when I first heard it is I had done a lot of business. I was selling 100 homes a year, and 3 years in, I mean, I'm the worst at remembering people's names. That's probably one of the reasons why I got married. So I go, oh, this is my wife. And she would say her name and they'd say her name. She knew the game to play. It's like, oh yeah, that's Joe. And so she knew that game to play. I was fearful that I was actually walking, like somebody would see me at the grocery store. I mean, after selling 300-400 homes, walking past somebody at the grocery store and not even acknowledging them, that's scary. I don't know if that scares you guys, but it scared me. So I'll come back to this. When you write the list down and then you're finding their information after you've written all the names in there. So every day you're kind of plugging into that. You're pulling up Facebook, you're pulling up your phone, you're pulling up Google. And just like for real estate agents, that's the first thing you should do there is put in their name and put realtor behind it. And you're going to find 10 links that are attached to them. They're going to be on LinkedIn. They're going to be on Facebook. They're going to be on, they might have an Instagram. They might have a TikTok. So you can start seeing where they are and you'll see their face 3 or 4 times, which you're also going to see, oh, that person is not who I'm looking for. I know that, right? So you're going to have wrong information in there too, but it just connects that face to the name. Now I'm writing the address. Now I know where they live, kind of, and you're going to see that stuff more and more as you're going through the system. So that if you can write it down, if it's 100, 200, 300, that's the best way. If you have to do this, I will tell you, you're not going to lose too much because it's got their face attached to their contact info. So actually, by the time I'm finding their phone number, address, and email, I'm seeing their face and their name again anyway. Okay. Yeah. Did you have something to add to that?
Not me.
Okay. Does that help understand that?
It does. Just to be clear though, because I've got people on Facebook that I'm like, I know you're an agent, but who are you? Those people are not going on the brand plan, correct? Because there's like zero connection.
So if you wanted to put them on the brand plan, what would get them on the brand plan?
I need to make a call and connect or somehow connect.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because I've got some complete like strangers. They're agents.
Yeah.
But I'm like, I have no idea who you are.
Yep. So let me attach that.
Okay.
The master list is, let's just say right now, I'm busy. Business is going on. A couple of people call, take care of some deals. All right, I've got to make calls. I got to find some new business. To replace your cold call time is to open this up and scroll. I got hooked. Is to open this up and scroll through till I find an address and a phone number who's still in my master list book. And this could very well be the handwritten one as well. So I see a name with an address and a phone number, which those are what I would consider the 2 critical. Email, we jump to that too quick. You really need an email if you're going to like send them something they're waiting for. This is about communicating or connecting, like you just said. So they're a total stranger in here, but I found an email and a phone number for them, and I'm doing my cold calling to get new business. So I can open it up here and just start with the people that you have an address and a phone number for, even if they're a stranger, because then this is what cold call time would look like, is rather than cold call, I actually know I friended them on Facebook and I know they're a realtor, but I don't know them yet. So I'm going to pick them up and go, hey, it's Sissy. Just call and check in. I know you probably get a call from 100 different LOs. And what do I win for being the 100th LO to call you this week? Which isn't true, but they laugh a little bit and you chuckle and you go, hey, no, I actually just noticed we were friends on Facebook. And I love this whole friends thing on Facebook because like I can't even remember where we met at or anything. So I just want to call and introduce myself, see how business is going, see if I could put that connection back together. Whatever I need to do to kind of get that going. It's a lot more fun of a cold call than really cold calling strangers, right? Go ahead. Yeah.
So in that sense, the whole point of this is to target potential business. I have a bunch of lenders, movement employees. I don't need to add them to the master list, right? I'm really targeting realtors only, because if that's the case, I actually, every single friend I added, I created lists, and I have a realtor list where all the realtors are going. In that sense, do I just need to write down download my realtor list and that's it?
That's not how I would do it.
How would you do it?
Here's why I say that. Because I do know for a fact, and you guys tell me if you guys know Rock or Sissy, but I know there's actually LOs that are giving business to other loan officers back and forth, right?
But they're from different companies, not just ours. But so it doesn't
even
matter.
better. Oh,
Uh-huh.
wait, even that one's a gold mine right there
That
for
makes
me.
sense. That makes sense. Yep.
Yeah.
I'll say no more. Say no more.
Yep.
I got it.
I mean, those are fun calls. It's like, dude, what's going on? Hey, I just know. I thought of you and I thought, man, there's probably some things you can't do. There's some things I can't do. Let's get this connection going and write them a note and put them on the drip plan.
Yeah,
And
makes sense.
here's a funny one. So just envision that what you're just talking about. So the 8x8 touch, that our generic one that we've created, says send an email with your approval link. And the email says, hey, here's a link to my online approval application. Just so you have it. I check this every day. I could still send that to an LO at another company.
Cool.
Right? Man, if they're giving out your application link, boom. All right. Like you said, you don't need to say no more, but I did want to really like play that out. Yeah, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah, yeah. No.
I was just going to add to it because on our call earlier, Brad pointed out that, you know, try to think of a couple things that you offer that you do that maybe they don't, whether it would be a program. Like you don't have to call and shout that out before you even, you know, have a conversation, but just so that you have it in your back pocket. So
Gotcha.
like in our case, we have a Spanish speaker. We can fully do the whole entire loan application in Spanish, the whole loan experience process. So it's just like in the back pocket. Hey, how are you? By the way, you know, we're kind of going down this path just so that you have something to kind of say.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
They're another, oh, hey.
No,
don't
go
know
ahead.
if I'm unmuted. They're another revenue stream. You're adding a whole new stream if you start visiting bankers and hanging out with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, so
Yeah.
think about that as everybody gets in everybody that you kind of know who they are, or they know who you are, or you would like to get to know them and you want them to know you, should all go in your master list. All go in your master list. And once you have an address and a phone number for them, so, you know, slice out, there's a little bit of admin behind the scene time where every day you're opening that master list and you're trying to add some more addresses and phone numbers. You're like on purpose, 30 minutes. I mean, I pull up Facebook, Google,
Yeah.
fastpeoplesearch.com, and I put their name in all of those and see what I can find, right? And I spend up to about 5 minutes per name, which it should take you about 30 seconds to a minute. But some people you might dig around, and it might take you 5 minutes. But after 5 minutes, if I don't find it, I just close it out, move on, go to the next name.
Yeah.
You might dig it up later. You guys might cross paths later. I mean, it's not to be hanging on every name. It's to get the notebook as full as possible so you can go in anytime and start reconnecting and sending out letters every day.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Gary, you just joined. You're in Bellevue, I noticed. You just joined from Caliber.
We came across from Caliber. I'm actually Colorado, Washington, and Texas. Live in Colorado and born and raised North Bend, Snoqualmie Valley.
I see. Got it. But you're attached to Bellevue branch. Nice. Gotcha.
Been with them forever with Johnny.
Yeah. Nice. And Sis is in Texas. Well,
yeah,
hey,
that's
guys.
another thing we need to do just real quick. Every time we have any call like this, who's licensed where, and get to know each other.
Yeah. Well, I'm Florida, Washington, Texas. Probably going to add more. I'm going to add Georgia because it's so close. And I had people asking for Nevada loans to help them out. So
I got a Georgia right now, just so you know, and I can't find an insurance guy or a lender that I know off the top of my hat.
I'm working on licensing right now, but yeah, Georgia's supposed to be fairly, simple, but I'll try.
Good job.
I'm trying to get New Mexico, but I just found out I have to retake the test.
So, the 20-hour one?
Mm-hmm.
Do Knowledge Coop.
What's that?
Real Knowledge Coop. Really easy, interactive, and it's not dull. It's not like boring that you just want to shoot yourself. It's entertaining, informative, and easy to pass. So do Knowledge Coop. It's
thank you for that.
You're welcome. And they do have a package, by the way. If you sign up like subscription, you have access to all classes, like education stuff. So
I got a question, Brad, on I'm sending out 1,500 emails today to the realtor associations I belong to. So it's closed group. So can just boom, as long as we track the opt-outs. So that's one of the reasons I use BombBomb, because even if I don't send a video, I'll use BombBomb, but I don't get many opt-outs, but that gives somebody that right. But what you just said just now, that the link, I'm pitching the 3.5% down, new down payment assistant. I'm pitching my jumbo because it's jumbo. That's what we do. But why wouldn't I start that email out first line or in the subject and say, hey, here's my link. Just want to make sure you have it. I check it every day. Wouldn't that be better than a jumbo lead in?
Well, so we're talking about, and actually, I'm glad you brought this up, Rock, because it does attach a little bit to what Aram said a little earlier. There's two different worlds, okay? So in this particular case, Rock can have all 1,500 names in his master list notebook. That's what I would do. And I would spend time every day tracking down a phone number and an address for those 1,500 people, so that they could become, like Sissy said, one of my connections for the day that I can add to the 8x8 and write the note to, right? So we do know I'm going to send that out on the second email there, but I want to bring it back for a second, because right now we're in the other world. We're in the bulk mass marketing world. And what we know from the studies, and if you do have a copy of the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, I don't know if I have mine sitting handy here. Had it out earlier. It's usually like right on my desk. There's a bullseye that shows like the outer ring is like if you were doing marketing on a billboard around town, or you were taking out TV advertising, your mass marketing, institutional marketing for business, right? The next inner ring would be, and if you just kind of draw a bullseye with like 5 different rings, that outer ring is just the masses. That's where marketing, great headline, incredible call to action. If I sent that out to 1,500 people, was it so awesome that it caught my attention? Did it look good? This is when you need a marketing person, you need this headline, you need this call to action, and you're trying to get a response. The next group in would be like if you're targeting a specific group of people. So that could be real estate agents, or it might even be the real estate agents inside one particular office because you're doing their Christmas party, or you're going to come speak at their meeting. So that's a more targeted group. And I'm going to send out something probably once a month to just say, hey, I'm coming to your class, to your office again to do another training. Come in and find out about reverse mortgages. I'm coming in to talk about blah, blah, blah. So you're still mass marketing these people you're not connected with yet, but you got the okay from the broker to just come to the office and teach something. It literally could be as targeted as you got a marketing agreement and you're sitting in an office. I don't care if it's 1 day a week or 5 days a week. You don't know those people. They don't know you yet, but you're targeting them directly through that office with messages from the office, right? And then once you meet somebody, they become a Met. And that's the difference we're talking about here is you're in that ring where you've got a targeted list you're marketing to. And if you market to them 12 times a year or once a quarter or whatever you're doing, and it's just going out, the ROI on that is about 50 to 1. It means for every 50 people I send it to, I should get one piece of business, right? Now I'm kind of translating the real estate terminology like to marketing to consumers, because we know the average person moves every 10 years and the way this works out. But mass marketing will generally get you a 0.25% return, not a 1% return or a 2% return. 50 to 1 is 2%. And what they found in the studies was that agents that had been in business for 30 years that marketed to their farm or to like a community, and they had their billboards and they did their mailers, they would get, I mean, think about it. Some realtor that's been in business 30 years that has over 2,000 sales, they're still barely selling 200, 300 homes a year. There's not many realtors selling much more than that at the high end, right? So they're not even getting all of the moves in the area. There could be 6,000 moves and they got 100 of them. So the mass marketing generates a smaller ROI. And if you've been in business for 30 years and you've marketed consistently for that 30 years, you should get about a 2% return on whoever you're marketing to. If I'm doing a 1,000 piece mailer, I'm probably going to get 20 deals a year from my farm. Does that make sense? So that is going to yield a lower return. To answer
Well, let me ask a question, or go ahead. No, finish up.
I'll finish this out real quick and then bring it in. So the question that you're asking about that particular email doesn't matter. There's not a subject line in the world.
Okay.
There's nothing in the planet that's going to make more people all of a sudden respond to it, except taking those 1,500 people. And if I had them on a master list and I found their phone number and address for every one of them, and I called and connected with 5 of them a day and wrote them a note and then started them on the 8x8, that will yield you 8 times more business than if you keep doing the 1,500 email.
Right. No, that's kind of what I was getting at. But the good to know that my headline doesn't matter, but a simple email, if I'm going to do it anyway, is have that, just wanted you to have my link. And then for, say, each of these 2 groups, $750 each, I've called, I didn't even think of it, I've called 200 of them or met with 200 from each group. So bring them into my master list, even give them a call again and just say, hey, this is Rock. I want to make sure you have my link. I'm going to send that to you directly. And by the way, what's your name, email address, and phone number? Although I do have those already in these group lists because I belong to the Association of Realtors with them.
Yeah. Well, so what we're talking about here, to define it very specifically, so those 200 realtors that you call, I'm just going to use that as an example, not you as a specific example. If you were to pass any of those 200 people in the grocery store or at Walmart or at something in the next, like, say, 3 to 5 days, would all 200 of them know who you are?
Okay.
And if the answer is probably not, then we didn't really connect with them yet. We definitely didn't kick it off with a note, and we haven't moved into that realm yet. Because if you called 5 a day and in 2 months, I took those 200 people and I really connected and I wrote a real note and they've been getting 8 touches from me in 8 weeks, all 200 of them would recognize you when they walk past you in the store.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, this kind of answered Rock's question, kind of answered my question. I was going to ask you if it's reasonable to ask like a title rep for a email list of the realtors and just kind of add them to database and start sending them emails before meeting them. But you answered it. Yeah, it's.
Yep. Yeah. Well, and in fact, I'll throw in too, when you said employees, here's the deal. Do you know how often every employee at Movement Mortgage actually moves? I do. Every 5 to 10 years. Do you know any other Movement Mortgage loan officer that makes sure they know that they can call them if they're thinking of moving, just see what they qualify for? Zero and nada. So actually, everybody's a potential moving person. Here's another one that'll blow your mind. All of your real estate agents, those 1,500 real estate agents that Rock just mentioned, 800 of them will be out of the business in 3 years. But guess what? They still are consumers.
Exactly. That's what I figured out a couple of weeks ago on that. If you think about it, Aram, I've been calling Texas realtors out of the business because when I send my emails out, I get an invalid address. I pick up my phone, they're already in it because I've worked with them. And I go, hey, you're a W-2 employee. Ding, 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 ding. They're no longer in our industry, not making money. Whether they're realtors or bankers, they're consumers.
So when you're connected with people and they're popping up reminders 4 times a year for you to look at their information and see that stuff, can you see how you'll start being a lot more connected with people? And when you mail something out and maybe it's been 3 months since you talked to them on the phone and it comes back returned mail, but you've talked to them for the last 2 years, 6, 8 times, 12 times, you can call them up and go, dude, did you move? I don't want to lose touch with you. What happened? It's like, oh man, yeah, my wife got transferred, blah, blah. And all of a sudden you're reconnected again. And yeah, it's an individualized.
Question for
And
you.
they're going to give you referrals because people are still calling about if they're a realtor or a banker. Hey, who should I use? Well, I'm not doing it anymore, but call so-and-so.
Yeah. What's your question, Aaron, before we close out?
Question regarding potentially like a daily plan, like what activity should be planned. I'm planning to get a win by noon. I've attempted it once, but didn't go anywhere. So I'm trying to incorporate this with coaching. What's your take on that?
Yep. So I believe with coaching, you're all going to get win by noon.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what, and Sissy and I talked about this. Win by noon is for people that don't have a system that we're now doing. Because win by noon is for you to go ahead and play out like, okay, who should I call today? You're making a list so that you're on purpose about calling and it's in your calendar and it's working through the process. We're flipping it around to where we're putting people in as we meet them, writing the note and staying in touch and putting them on kind of an autopilot reminder system. So literally with like win by noon, where it says, what are my calls for today? Your system will already tell you who your people are to call today. But so, for example, if it's, and I don't know the system completely detailed, but I envision that it probably has like the 20 spots that I'm going to put my people I'm going to call today. That's my lead gen time and this and this and that, because I'm signed up for it too. But if it were like 20, like most of those systems have 20 spots for you to fill in 20 names and numbers that you're supposed to call today. Well, your system will probably kick out 10 of those that somebody that you met 3 weeks ago that you're still working on top of mind awareness. They're not buying or selling right now, but that is lead generation because you're staying in touch with them so that you are top of mind, that when they do become the person that's moving this year, but it's 6 months from now, you just turned them into a lead that you wouldn't have probably called them 6 months later on the day. Right.
And do I develop that system, or that system is going
That's
to be
what we're doing. Yeah, the system is going to be that 8x8 plan. That spreadsheet that I gave you is the system I'm talking about. So you have the spreadsheet for the brand plan 8x8 where you put the name, address, phone number in, and it's got the columns like call them, write a note, then send an email. If not, send it to you.
I don't have it now.
All right, I'm going to send you a group call that we did as well, where we talk about this plan. And this is just, I hate to almost say it's the thing I preach about, but guys, I'm telling you, it amplifies everything else you're ever going to do in your career. It will amplify the results 6 to 8 times, like the real number, 6 to 8 times. If you're connected with them and you do a bomb video that you sign up for, your bomb video is going to get 6 to 8 times more closed sales than if you just signed up for the bomb hoping you get some new business out of it.
Yeah.
Right. So yes, I'll send you that
something
stuff.
really quick too.
Yep.
And this is kind of to you, Rock. You have that list and you're with all those groups, but I don't know if you guys have looked at the new, they're called AMP. I don't know what it stands for, but basically the classes that you teach to agents. Dom and I just did one. There's one on, I think it's a video. I don't know if it's video marketing, video editing. I don't know what they titled it. But the new videos are amazing. The agent feedback was amazing. It's an easy way to connect. Chris Coghill actually gives you a demonstration of like what to say, how to teach the class. So if you haven't seen those, that's like a really easy way to connect with those 1,500 people. And it's really well done. So
Yes,
just
check it
throwing
out.
that out there.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. All right, guys. So I'm going to close out with this, just as we talk about all of this that we've talked about today. Watching you all network a few minutes ago, telling the different states you were in and how important that was. And y'all lit up when you were doing it too. How many of you wrote down everyone's name in your master list, and you're going to find their address and phone number, and you're going to call them after the call and go, dude, I need to get those states from you again. And then you're going to drop them a handwritten note in the mail. And that's right.
Yeah, the challenge is all three of us are licensed in Texas. Both of us licensed in Washington. And
But I
none of
think-
you, none of you are licensed in Florida. So
Right, so
I
you've
can
got
refer
Florida,
Colorado.
if I can get New Mexico, and then Rock, you said another one, didn't you? Colorado.
Colorado.
Colorado's where I'm
Yeah.
living.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've got that.
And you
All
guys
we gotta do is help each other in those states too and work together. There's
down.
no, it's such a big world.
Honestly,
Well-
the reason,
Oh, go ahead.
the reason why I got a Texas license is because one of the realtors from Washington moved, but I did not farm Texas. I don't farm it. You know, it's like in case somebody shows up. But if it's like a local, if somebody wants like a local agent, somebody there, yeah, definitely, I'm gonna
Well,
farm it out.
So wait till you start going through your list, your Facebook list and your cell phone list, and somebody from college, somebody from high school, family. One of the drip plans that I send out to realtors around the country is just a form that says, hey, memory jogger, who'd you go to college with? Who'd you go to high school with? What family do you have living in Kansas City? Find everyone you can think of, write them down on this list and get them back to me. I'm going to make sure that they call you when they move next so you can refer it back to me. But really what I'm going to be doing is going, if they got me that list, I'll go in and find their address, their phone number. I'll call them and go, hey, you wouldn't believe it. You know Rock in Colorado? Oh my gosh, Rock's awesome. And I just met him recently and he said that you lived in Kansas City. So I just want to call and say, hey, and let you know you have a realtor contact from now on. I'm one of Rock's friends, right? So anyway, and then eventually you'll get to a point where your business starts growing faster. Like I don't remember who I had a coaching call with, but I said, the bigger problem is they kind of understood if I did 5 a day and I got 200 people running on an 8x8 and I start to fall behind on my notes, you can't fall behind. If you keep up with it, the bigger problem that's already in your head is like, how am I going to handle all this business? And that's the problem we'll deal with when it actually becomes a problem, because you can do a day before vacation for a good month or two and work your tail off, but then we'll develop the systems in place when you need them to make it more efficient, that you can do more business. So eventually you would hope that as everybody does this, I'm at a point where I'm going to start giving you some of the stuff I just don't have time to get back to because I don't want to drop the ball on somebody, and it wouldn't matter if you're in the same state. I mean, again, there's a lot of different cities in each state as well. So anyway, just food for thought, guys. Good
Thank you, guys.
What a great call, man. What do you guys think? Like it?
It was awesome.
This is awesome.
Good call.
All right. We will have these every month. Yep.
All right.
Thanks
so much.
See you later.
Have a good day.
Bye, guys.
Bye.